Meus amores, estamos aqui startando o segundo dia de Sundance Film Festival. Estamos aqui no Cinema Café. Viemos cobrir um painel com Olivia Colman, de Jimpa, e Steve Yeun, que é famosíssimo, premiado também, inclusive famoso por Acclaimed, vários outros filmes. Ele está agora em cartaz com Bubble Stick e está fazendo muito sucesso. E nós fomos convidados para cobrir esse painel. É uma entrevista longa, falando da vida dos dois, falando de trabalho, tá maravilhosa. A gente cobriu do início ao fim para vocês no Deleire Fantinelli Show. As perguntas já haviam sido selecionadas por pessoas que já tinham feito a inscrição para fazer as perguntas. E eles nos convidaram para perguntar: você quer cobrir esse momento? Óbvio, claro. E com exclusividade para vocês no Deleire Fantinelli Show. Saindo daqui, vamos para mais um red carpet para vocês, tá? Beijo, espero que vocês gostem.
So just a little bit quickly, do me that favor and just bear with me. Olivia Colman is a British actress and producer known for Tyrannosaur, The Favourite, for which she won an Academy Award. Thank you. I'll stop it, but don't stop it. The Father, also Oscar nomination. Was that the last time you were at Sundance with The Father?
No, I wasn't here for that.
Oh, you didn't come?
I've only been in 2011 for Tyrannosaur.
Oh, that was quite a one to be here for. I was in the screening, by the way. It was amazing. Thank you. Cried for days, but thank you for that. Also, The Lost Daughter, as well as high-profile TV shows such as Peep Show, Broadchurch, Fleabag, and The Crown. I won't be listing all of the nominations and all of the awards because we don't have all day, but the film she's at Sundance with is called Jimpa. It's Sophie Hyde's Jimpa, which premiered last night. People loved it, so we hope you get to see it if you haven't yet. And Steven Yeun is a Korean-American actor and producer, Oscar-nominated, Golden Globe and Emmy Award-winning, and again, countless nominations we don't have time for. This is working really well. He is beloved for his performances across film and television, including starring roles in the award-winning series Beef, Jordan Peele's Nope, our very favorite Minari. I'm sorry, I'm going to brag. This is one of our favorite Sundance films. And he joined Sundance this year to premiere Bubble and Squeak by Ivan Tuohy, which premieres tonight and is also produced by his very own production company that he started with Christina O, Celadon Pictures. Okay, so now that we did the part, I know that you keep talking to press about the films you're here with, and I only have one question about those films. What is the favorite thing about Jimpa that you love about it so much? The reason why you wanted to do Jimpa?
I think because it's, I'm sort of going to steal John Lithgow's line, but it's a film that's so infused with love, and particularly at a time when we need more of that. It feels particularly special, and it's, if you haven't seen it, it's a very beautiful story about a family and love and acceptance, and it's 3 generations, gay granddad, straight daughter, and non-binary trans child, and how they all, are kind to each other, and they love each other, and it's all embracing and welcoming, and I think that's fucking marvellous. So that's why I like it.
Thank you for that. Stephen, same question about Bubble and Squeak.
This is a weird answer, but I think when I read the script, it was it was something that I couldn't really grasp, and it was a little like the script wasn't incoherent. It was incoherent in the way that I couldn't understand it so clearly, and I think that felt really affecting and correct for the time when I read it, and then to now. I was just kind of toying with this, not toying, but I was just thinking about this feeling of like fiction feels almost more real than real life these days. And that's what ultimately drew me to it, and hopefully we realize that in the production of it.
Olivia, I don't know if you heard this, but the synopsis for Bubble and Squeak is: accused of smuggling cabbages into a nation where cabbages are banned, Declan and Dolores must confront the fragility of the new marriage while on the run for their lives.
We managed to get a link, but I got it early this morning, just before hair and makeup turned up. So I got the first 15 minutes. It's fucking mental. It's brilliant. You're going to love it.
Thank you so much.
Put that on the poster.
Yeah, fucking mental, please. Can we put that on the poster? Yeah, writing it down right now.
So Jimpa is fucking marvelous, and
Yeah,
this is
fucking
mental.
marvelous.
There you go.
I'm sorry,
done and done.
my mum would not be proud. I'm a
not sure.
potty mouth, sorry.
Too late now. It's okay. Well, actually, that's a good segue into my next question about what is it that gets you excited about projects and about your collaborators? How do you choose your collaborators? Is it that, you're drawn to people sometimes more than stories, or is it that you search for specific things in those stories and in projects? Stephen?
I feel like all these answers are going to be unsatisfying. Sometimes a story just pops up and it's like, hey, I think I need you. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. And I feel in that way fortunate to like kind of fall forward into these stories that kind of present themselves. So I'm really not looking at it from like, is a director, writer, or whatever. It's more like, am I interested in that story? And then if the people that are involved in it are also interested in that story in that way, I'm excited. So that's usually my vibe with it.
Yeah, I'm similarly, I don't really know why, sometimes you read something and you go, oh, I like that. And sometimes you go, I don't think I could do that very well. Someone else would do it better. There's no, I wish there was a formula that you could apply to everything. Sometimes it's because someone I love is in it, and often that's not the right way to make the decision. I don't know, really. And I've definitely made wrong decisions, and sometimes I can't tell why I made the right one. So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
It's great. Not knowing is also fantastic. It's a great answer, too. Did you say fall forward? You used the expression falling forward.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate? Would you be willing?
Man.
You did that to yourself.
I did.
Okay, not if it's too painful, but...
No, it's not painful. I don't know if there's any other thing that we're all doing. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah, every time you feel like you're in control, you are humbled immediately that you are not. And so I'm just like revealing myself to myself, and it's at times agonizing, and then other times it's like, I have compassion for myself, and then other times there's shame, but largely I'm just trying to fall forward with a little bit more grace than I usually have, if that makes sense. Yeah.
That's very beautiful, not just yes. That is also, I guess, an interesting thing that I think ties nicely with humility and modesty that I feel like is required to some extent in the jobs that you do, but also you need to have so much confidence at times to be able to take swings and go out and do something that maybe you weren't sure you could do even. How do you balance that? Like, how do you balance the idea that you should have some humility because there are people, like you were saying, maybe who will be better for something, but also have the confidence to try out?
Yeah, again, if there was a formula for that, I'd make a fortune. But I don't know. I think when I watch performers, if they are sort of without armor and completely giving themselves to it, I want to go with them. And if they're embarrassed at what they're doing, I'm embarrassed to watch them. And we've all seen like Amdram on stage, and you can see when someone really gives it, you go, oh, there, I'm with them. So that's bravery, but also humility tied in. I don't really understand it. The bravest I find I have to be is things like this, things when I'm me, or a premiere or something. That's when I have to have a chat with myself, put on an armor, and be someone else. But being yourself, playing a character, for some reason, this makes no sense, but for some reason, that's easier. Yeah.
I agree. Okay. I agree. I don't know. I found that when I try to be humble, it comes off as arrogant. And so I find that humility finds me anyway, in spite of myself. Like a great example is like at the premiere of Beef, we were all in the hotel, and we were all feeling good. We were getting good press, and like everything was going well, and we were having a good time with our crew. And I was like really relaxed. And then I got up, and then I ran straight into the glass door in front of everyone. And I was like, "Did everybody see that?" And they're like, "We saw that." And it's like that, I used to, when I was younger, I used to be really angry at the universe for things like that. And then now, those are kind of gifts, if you'll let them be. But it was also painful.
There's a kind of beef anger.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, well, I guess, so winning awards, since we mentioned hundreds of them, winning awards is one measure of success, I guess, but do you ever think about, like, how do you yourself measure success? Like, measure how well you're doing? Do you ever give yourself a pat on the back? Like, I'm doing great, this is good. I went out and I did this thing that I didn't want to do. Sat in front of these people here. And, yeah. Do you ever do that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to lie, getting an award's really nice.
Yeah.
But I think when I was younger, when I started out, my dream was if my peers like my work, that is the dream. And I think that was a good way to start out, and no one should hope to start out wanting to win awards or start out wanting to be famous. That way madness lies. And that's been the unfortunate bad side to a job that I love. And I do often lose track as well. When I start talking, I forget where I've started, which I'm doing now. What
with you.
was it? Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
I actually have no idea.
Okay.
Sorry.
This is great.
It's going well.
See, this is also what's beautiful. You can continue in that, too. But you were talking about peers, and that you set out thinking that if your peers were appreciative, yes, that was enough.
But then it turns out winning awards is really nice. And but I always think once that's happened, wallow in it for a couple of days, but then you've got to pretend it like it never happened. Get back to work and work your way up again. I think don't get cocky. I've seen the odd person get quite cocky, and then they're not as pleasant to work with.
Awards are weird. Awards are very weird. They're weird, but they're awesome, and it's both things. And so I agree with Olivia. It's like the hard part that I had to rationalize for myself during those times is you're just kind of like, oh, maybe this is actually like a chain of events that has like culminated to that moment where I have the great fortune of receiving the thing, but you also know that you're kind of a product of like multiple people and events that have led you to that thing. So it's hard to talk about because like it also sounds like not realistic to be like, oh, I didn't earn this, but it's like I don't know if this is like truly mine. I feel like it's like a light bulb went off and there was like a bunch of nodes that connected to get to that place. So honestly, I'm just trying to receive those types of things in gratitude, but I'm a fallible human and I'm terrible at those things.
I don't see that terrible, but in terms of success then, I mean, like, for example, starting your own production company, that's a measure of success. I would say like you managed to accomplish something that is important to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think for me, maybe a measure of success is how comfortable I am holding the current experience of what I'm experiencing. And right now, the thing that I have with this production company is like, our intention is to be able to help usher in great stories and stories that might not be able to be seen or things that just interest us and just communicate. And yeah, I view that as like a massive privilege. So it's pretty amazing.
Do you guys ever get starstruck? Like, do you ever see someone at a festival or anywhere else and you're like, oh my God, is this person?
I got
Correct answer,
in the
thank
green
you.
room. I went hi and went straight in for a hug. Yeah. We've never met before.
Oh, no.
He went like that,
I
and
appreciated that. I very much appreciated that.
Sorry, he looked quite scared. I was terribly excited to meet you just now. But in general, I've learnt that we're all the same people. You know, if we were allowed to just sit and have a chat, we definitely all have farted in our lives. Oh, yeah. We've definitely, you know, we make mistakes, we cry, we have family, we have friends, we laugh, we're all the same. And I have loved that over the years of meeting my heroes and going, oh, you're actually just a really nice person. Yeah. Or not.
I agree, totally. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We'll go with that. How because we can take some questions from the audience, if they're good.
You might have to save us.
In the back,
ask us
yes.
non-actor questions like favourite dog, favourite biscuit.
Oh yeah, I have those. I have those for later.
You can ask what you like.
Okay, over there, yes. Orange shirt, yes. Mm-hmm.
Hi, I have a question for Stephen. So, I've recently watched your Korean film Burning, and I had a question about how you go about making a Korean film for a primarily Korean audience compared to a film like Minari, which is a Korean film for an American audience, and sort of the difference between how you approach those projects.
Oh, man. I think, to me, it's more of a unconscious level of surrender. With the Korean film, you know, it's being made by a Korean crew with a Korean director, and the way that I fit in that reality was just kind of to honor my otherness in that space. And then here, with our American crew, an American director, a Korean-American director, it was also about honoring our otherness in some way. And so I don't know if like the intention or parameters changed per se. Obviously the characters changed. So there's that, but you're kind of like pointing me at something that I'm interested in general, which is like the third rail of things, like the third culture or third everything. And I feel like, you know, I'm looking at the films that are coming out these days, I'm looking at the films that are out at this festival, and I feel heavily this idea of like this third place that I think we're all accessing, consciously or not. And so I don't know if that answers your question, but like that's kind of where I'm operating from personally.
Thank you very much.
Over here, yes.
Hi, this is Olivia. I love your act, by the way.
Thanks.
There's a microphone? There's a microphone?
Yeah. I think you're an amazing actress. Every single one of your characters are very different, and I really like that about you. So I wanted to know if, when you choose a character to play, do you choose it based on maybe your personal experience, like a way to liberate yourself from a certain experience that can be sad or happy? Do you use the character for that?
I don't know. I don't know. There's an awful lot of thought that goes into it. So if I read it and go, I like her, or I don't like her, but I sort of do like her, or sometimes if I've had a run of characters that are too similar, I'll go, I'd like to try something different. But there's not an awful lot of thought behind it. It's sort of a gut feeling of, well, like, sometimes I read it and go, I think someone else could do that better. Or I could go, I'm a bit scared of it. Oh, I'd like to give it a go. It's sort of like that. It's a bit of a gamble.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, congrats.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're amazing.
Thank you so much.
You're very
That's
cool.
very nice.
All the way in the back, yes.
Hello, I'm a massive fan of you both, and you're so inspirational. in your work, and you're so bold. I just had I'm an actor, and I'm in a film for the first time in Sundance here, and I just wanted to. Thank you. I just wanted to ask you both about the slow years, because as an actor, we go through auditions, and I've been doing this 15 years, and we have years like this and years that are slower. So I have a really hard time forgetting about the role that you're auditioning for, and just that process of like resilience through the slow years. You have this years where you get into Sundance and years that you don't do anything. So what tools have you used in your early career to really just focus on the work that you do for the audition and then forget about it? Because I spiral all the time.
Oh yeah.
I'm a big spiraler. So just curious about that. Thank you both so much.
Yeah. One piece of advice that I heard early in my career that I appreciated was just kind of move every day with intention. I think that spiraling can paralyze you, and I certainly know exactly what you're talking about. And sometimes it feels like you're not moving, but maybe closer to what I was saying earlier too, like falling forward. I sometimes, I found that things would be slower when I was aiming at acting, as opposed to kind of just like living the life that I was living in preparation for a role that might find you. Again, like this sounds like such chance and luck, and it is as well. And in that way, I feel very grateful. But also like things, it's kind of like life in that way where like you get to a point and you can look back at your past and say like, I reject all this trauma, or I reject all these experiences that I went through that were painful for me. But then something comes and appears and you're like, oh my God, all that was like necessary for me to be able to come into this moment and be prepared for that too. So maybe this, you can also, it seems like also too a matter of perspective as well.
I was terribly grateful. Now, I'm very grateful for the slow years. I feel like it gave me an appreciation, and to be very grateful that I was lucky and certain things, happened along the way. But I know exactly what you mean when all you can think about is that audition, and they never fucking call. It's rude. So I used to do auditions, and I would tell myself, that was fun, and I'm never going to hear back. And so, exactly as you said, just get on with the next bit of your day, which is easy to say, not so easy to do. But if there's any way of, I don't know, laying it to rest, it wasn't an audition for a job, it was just a fun thing you did that day. And then, I don't know, trying to live your life. Also, learning to type was very handy. So I could
You're a great typist. You said that about yourself.
And it still thrills me. Even if there's no one in the room, I do that and go, what?
Just typing away. Over here, yes.
So my question is also for both of you, and I'm a big fan, obviously. I'm wondering because I'm not familiar, was your first project or your first experience in the business or in acting, and how it got you maybe started, or how you felt at your first experience? And I mean, it could be back in the day,
Well, I did a school play when I was 16, having been rubbish at everything at school, which again was actually quite a plus, because if you're shit at everything, at least you can commit to acting. Which you do have to commit to it, But it was a school play at 16, and suddenly people clapped, and I went, I love it. And then I couldn't do anything else for the rest.
I used to be really into music, and that's when I first felt that feeling of like, oh, that's awesome to be on stage.
Things.
I can play guitar. I'm okay. But when I was in college, I remember seeing my school's improv troupe my freshman year, and in hindsight, I can look back at that to be a little bit more like existential of an experience, whereas in that moment, I was just like, oh, I just want to do that cool thing. In hindsight, I kind of see it as like seeing people be free enough not to calculate every part of their experience before they have it on stage was like incredibly liberating to watch. And I was like, I want to do that. I don't know what that is. I don't know how to do that, but I want to do that. And since that point, it's just been kind of going from there. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we have time for 2 more over there, because I'm sorry I've been neglecting you. Yes, white hat. Yes, please. Just one, please. Is that okay? So we give one to another one first. Yeah, okay. Thank you. I'll pass to Stephen then. I have watched Burning for...
I watched Burning for school. It was actually like one of the things we had to watch in my class, and I just wanted to know what happened to the girls at the end.
So director Lee, halfway through making that film, he was like, hey, Steven, you're gonna have to make a choice about who you are for yourself. Are you a bad guy or are you a good guy? And so I went home and I made a choice. And then a week later, he asked me, he's like, what did you choose? And I said, I'm not telling you. And yeah, and so it's not, sorry, I can't tell you.
It's okay, thanks.
Thank you for that. Oh, yes, over here, Red Hat. I'm sorry for doing this to the microphones. You can just say it really loudly, please.
I was wondering, when you receive an audition or a self-tape request, and you're in the room or you're doing it with your reader at home, you're looking on your sides and the script has been sent to you from casting. What is your first approach to that auditioning process? You know, it's such a scary process for actors, or it can feel that way, it can feel intimidating. So I was wondering what your approach was when you're in that room or doing that self-tape.
It's hard. It's hard.
Did you all hear that?
A question about self-taping, self-tapes.
So yes, how do you approach the self-tape thing? Sort of. He asked much better than that, but that's right.
You know, when you're in that room with the casting director and you got those sides, and maybe you got to look at the script if you were fortunate enough from the CD, how do you what's the first thing you do to approach that audition in that process?
I think, Olivia, you touched on it earlier too, about just kind of like having that experience and then letting it go. Over time, I've realized that all the judgments that I thought were upon me were really just coming from myself. And there is a way that I would enter into these rooms assuming a lot of things that I didn't even know I was assuming. And I wonder if the exercise can be made more liberating and fun if you can understand that like everyone's there to truly watch you succeed. Yeah. Like we all want to like revel in your like freedom. And so I don't know how you get to that place of like sitting in that pocket. I struggle still, but that's helpful when I'm not trying to do it for them, but I'm really just kind of like compassionately trying to express this for myself.
Also, one thing early on, if you ever get the chance to be the reader that's helping other people auditioning, you really get to see, because someone comes and you goes, oh my God, clearly they've nailed it. And then another person comes, oh, they've nailed it too. And then it's a really hard decision, and they really do want for everyone to succeed, exactly as you've said. And it's a real eye-opener to see when people come in as well who are sort of joyful. You want to work with someone who you're going to enjoy working with as well. So also, I think it's really mean that actors have to learn so many lines in such short amount of time. That is something we need to address. Because back in my day, 100 years ago, you didn't have to learn it. You could be familiar with it and hold the script in front of you. So much easier, gave everyone a better chance. But that's by the by. But if you ever get the chance to be witness at other people's auditions, it's a real eye-opener. Then you realise, okay, it's not personal. It's you just have to be the person they want to work with, something like that. Well, good luck. Good luck.
No pressure, but anything that you wanted to ask of each other, maybe? No pressure, but anything you wanted to ask of each other, maybe? Not not in front of the others.
In private.
In private, okay. That's perfect. Now that you're best friends and you hug all the time when you see each other.
We could just talk shit about Daniel.
Yeah.
Daniel Henschel, ladies and gentlemen.
One of
terrible
our
person.
great actors. Terrible.
Oh yeah, great actor. That's right.
Yeah, terrible human though. Yes.
Okay, well, on that note, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for your time. Thank you to the audience.
Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you coming. We ask that you please remain in your seats for a moment while we unload the house. Please remain in your seats.
Meus amores, chegamos ao fim do segundo dia do Sundance Film Festival e eu vou me despedir por aqui. Bem cansada, porém muito feliz. Nós vimos coisas incríveis e o que pudemos, nós registramos para vocês, tá? Nós iríamos encerrar o dia hoje com um evento da Google, onde a atriz de Wicked, que está indicada ao Oscar, Cynthia Erivo, vai ser homenageada, porém, do lugar de onde estamos até o evento não daria mais tempo. Mas não tem problema. O que foi possível mostrar, a gente mostrou. Onde foi possível chegar, a gente chegou. E foi com muito amor, com muito carinho. Fomos muito bem recebidos aqui. É o primeiro de vários festivais que eu pretendo mostrar para vocês. Quando eu disse que eu ia criar um novo canal, o The Lady Fontinelli Show, é para fazer uma vertente diferenciada do nosso Na Lata com o Antônio. O nosso Na Lata com o Antônio, como diz o nome, já é na lata, né? E eu estou muito afim de levar algo diferente para vocês. Falar mais do showbiz, trabalhar com algo mais light, algo que me aborreça menos do que o assunto política. Porém, eu preciso deixar claro para vocês que eu jamais vou deixar de fazer o nosso Na Lata. Daqui a pouco venho com mais novidade. Teremos de segunda a sexta as nossas lives, como sempre, com convidado, sem convidado, falando dos assuntos do Brasil. Mas aqui o The Lady Fontinelli Show é totalmente voltado para os assuntos fora do Brasil. E também do Brasil, por que não? Mas voltado para o showbiz. Bom, voltando para o Sundance Film Festival, eu quero dizer para vocês o que foi muito difícil para mim e o que foi super fácil. Muito difícil, o frio, tá? Muita gente comentando nas minhas redes, por que você não colocou roupa para aquecer e tal? Coloquei, tô aqui toda aquecida, mas o frio é muito grande. Ponto 1, isso foi muito difícil. 2, entrevistar as pessoas em pé, ficar com outros veículos de comunicação no red carpet, disputando perguntas, a atenção do elenco. Isso para mim é muito difícil, porque eu venho de 11 anos, né? E também de um programa de 1 ano na televisão, sentado, um talk show, com tudo marcado, com tudo programado, com uma agenda, né? Com quem eu vou falar, quem é, o que faz, não trabalhando com objeto surpresa. Atores que não eram para estar apareceram, e aí você tem que se virar. Terceiro ponto, estamos falando primeiro da dificuldade. O meu inglês. Mas eu vim para cá já sabendo. E como eu disse para vocês, eu quero que vocês acompanhem a minha evolução. Não tenho a menor vergonha de falar isso, eu me orgulho muitíssimo, porque eu sei, eu me conheço, eu sei que no próximo Sundance ou nos próximos eventos, o meu inglês vai estar muito melhor, né, do que o de hoje, que é muito macarrônico e que não tem problema, porque a minha língua é a língua portuguesa, não é o inglês. Mas eu vou aprender inglês para vocês para que eu desenvolva melhor, né, para que eu faça uma entrega melhor para vocês nesse novo canal aqui. Então, foram as 3 coisas muito difíceis. As fáceis foi você lidar com pessoas receptivas, pessoas educadas, pessoas que não são deslumbradas. E, como eu também já comentei nas minhas redes, quanto mais Oscar no currículo, quanto mais Golden Globe no currículo, quanto mais uma história de sucesso extensa, mais simples eles são. E constatar isso é incrível, é maravilhoso. E eu tive contato com Olivia Colman, que é uma grandíssima atriz, premiadíssima, com o John Lithgow, que me recebeu super bem. Cobrimos um painel a convite deles, de uma entrevista extensa, onde a Olivia fala muito da vida dela, o ator que estava com ela também, porque é muita gente na cabeça, não lembro agora o nome, mas ele é um ator renomado que também fez, entre outras coisas, Walking Dead, enfim. Foi uma experiência nova para mim, eu estou muito feliz, espero que vocês gostem, e nós estamos startando o nosso The Lady Fontinelli Show aqui, no Sundance Film Festival, e é só o começo, tá? Um beijo no coração de todos. Muitas coisas, né, uns spoilers, vamos dizer assim. a gente está jogando já no nosso Na Lata com a Antônia, porque, de novo, eu jamais vou deixar de mostrar as coisas para vocês que me seguem, que me impulsionam, que me dão força. E é isso. Um beijo no coração de todos. Obrigado, Sundance Film Festival. Vai ser uma semana de festival, mas eu preciso voltar para casa, que minhas netas me esperam, meus filhos me esperam. E um beijo no coração de todas. De todos, eu vou já com saudade desse lugar incrível, lindo, maravilhoso que é Park City e o Sundance Film Festival. Obrigada.